Hi, I'm back for part 2 of this drawing. I forgot to turn on record time lapse in Clip Studio Paint, so I decided I should just redraw this part. Luckily, it only took about an hour to draw it the first time, so taking another hour to redraw it isn't so bad. Often when I draw something from scratch, I take frequent breaks because it takes a lot of energy for me to try to visualize what I'm drawing. So although it took me an hour of just drawing, it will spread out much longer when you add in the time for breaks. However, this time I knew exactly what I was drawing, so I drew it all in one go. I like how this version turned out. I think I did a better job at getting the ideal proportions for the chibi style that I was going for. It's not so exciting to watch me copy a drawing, so I didn't screen record it. And it's a good thing I turned on the time-lapse feature because, as you'll see later in this video, after an hour into screen recording, the video got corrupted. We'll go back to the time-lapse video when that happens, but first I'll show you what I did manage to record. You might have noticed that the last video seemed a bit dark. For some reason, the white in the video was slightly gray by 4%. I'm using an Elgato capture card and the settings were set to default, which had the HDMI color settings set to standard. I think standard is using a limited color palette or something, so I switched to expanded and did some tweaking with the contrast brightness settings. That fixed the white and other colors for the most part, but I couldn't get red and cyan to be exact. Red is slightly bright and cyan is slightly dark. I guess this is just a limitation with HDMI or the capture card or something, I don't know. It's as close as I can get it though. About coloring this drawing, I've struggled with coloring for a long time. Often I'll make a drawing that would look nice when it's just pencil or ink, but then when I go to color it, it comes out looking off. Sometimes I didn't choose the right colors, or sometimes coloring something can highlight a mistake in the drawing. So you can see that I experiment a lot until I get something I want. I try to keep in mind the same thing when I was drawing the lines. Try not to get too focused on small details and instead focus on how the drawing looks when zoomed out. Some of the details I didn't draw in the line layers and instead drew them in the color layers, which I think saved me a lot of time. Overall, I think I struck a good balance between speed and quality for this drawing. You can see now that the frame rate of the recording starts to drop. OBS seems to eat up a lot of CPU when I record, no matter what I set the output settings to, but the capture card comes with its own software called Game Capture HD that I use for adjusting capture card's video settings. Even though it doesn't have as many features as OBS, it seems to use less power when recording, so I'll try using that until something else goes wrong. I don't know. I think computers just hate me. Let's talk about plans. As I said in the previous video, I plan to work on my Live 2D model next. What I want to do is teach myself how to rig a full body in Live 2D. Then I can start making my own character rigs to sell, either by taking commissions where I work with someone to make their own personal character, or designing and rigging my own characters that anyone can then buy and download from me ready to go. Before I can do that though, I need to practice rigging in Anime and Live 2D because I'm still just a beginner in that. Alongside that, I'm going to do some ink drawings for practice. I like doing digital drawings because I can fix any mistakes, but I think that also makes it harder to improve. It would be nice if I could record myself drawing on physical paper, but I need to get a camera and a setup, so maybe I'll do that later down the road, possibly for next Inktober. I know I'm late in posting a video again. I've underestimated how fast I can write and record these. I'm going to try to keep posting a video every week if I can, but the exact time may vary. I don't want all my time taken just making videos, so sometimes I may need to focus on other priorities. If you're subscribed, I recommend clicking the bell to get notifications. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. Links to my socials are in the descriptions. See you next time.